Hi, I'm Effy, and this is What Effy Reads. Today I'm going to be doing the BookTube Newbie Challenge. I was nominated by the wonderful Shannon over at Headinthebooks. Link will be down in the description if you'd like to check her out. Okay, the first question is, why did you start this channel? Honestly, the answer to that is I just wanted to join the community. I enjoy BookTube a lot. I enjoy talking about books, but I don't get much opportunity to talk about them. And sometimes it can be really difficult to talk about them with only one person or with someone who hasn't read the book. So I'm hoping that over time I'll get to have discussions about books. But if not, even just putting this out into the world enables me to talk about books a bit more. Okay, the second question is, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to BookTube? Honestly, I don't know. I just wanted to join. I think you shouldn't have to be anything in particular to want to join. Books are can be such an inviting place for everyone. So I also think BookTube should be for everyone. If you want to put yourself out there, if you want to join BookTube, you should be able to. Okay, the next question. What are you most excited for? Just joining the community. It's something that I've enjoyed more and more, especially over the course of lockdown, where I've had a lot of time on my hands and been looking for ways to fill it. I've participated in a lot of reading sprints over the past month. I've read a lot of books, so I'm just ready to join the party. The next question is, why do you love reading? And to that I say, why don't you love reading? Reading's amazing. It allows you to switch off for a bit and go into another world. And I think even books that are thoroughly grounded in the real world, there's that level of escapism where this isn't real. So although it may make you laugh, it may make you cry, there's not that real world stakes, especially at the moment with the pandemic. And that's not to say that I'm not still enjoying dystopias, although it was a very strange experience when I read The Book of Coley by M.R. Carey back in March 2020, as the time that I was reading that book was basically the time that the pandemic was ramping up and up. It basically reached the point of no return, but the governments weren't taking strong enough action at that point. But I would be very interested to read a dystopian now and see how I feel about it, given that we are a year into things. As for non-fiction, I enjoy learning, and that's why I like non-fiction, basically. What book or series got you into reading? I don't remember. I do know that probably one of the earliest series that I obsessively read and had to buy on release day or as soon as I knew that they were out were these books behind me, the Darren Shan saga. I picked up the first one. I think it was reduced in W.H. Smith's, as you can see, it doesn't match the other ones in the series. And I just had to continue reading the series. And I have very, very fond memories of staying up all night and reading them. And they were probably my first single sitting books. Okay, so this question's a bit interesting. It is, what would you ask your favourite booktubers? I'm going to be really pathetic and say, I would just say, do you want to be my friend? I know, it's kind of weird, kind of stalkerish. But who doesn't want more bookish friends? And I think that's the thing. I just want to be able to chat with more and more bookish people. Okay, the next question asks, what challenges do you think will be hard to overcome with starting a BookTube channel? At the moment, it's actually knowing when to stop. I feel like I've got a lot of ideas at the moment and not enough time. In fact, to the point that I'm possibly spending time that I would rather be reading, recording videos, editing videos, uploading videos. So it's figuring out when to pull back to say, okay, let's actually stop. Let's just read for a bit. Let's relax. I think that'll be very much an initial excitement. And then down the line, I'm currently on furlough from work, but I expect that I'll be back in work mid to the end of this month. And it's going to be balancing creating content and uploading whilst also being back to work. This next question is another quite tricky one for me to answer. It says, when did you start reading? And honestly, I couldn't tell you. I've been reading for as long as I can remember. I remember being a 6-year-old and the place that I lived had a really deep windowsill that had a curtain that covered it. And I remember sitting in that windowsill pretending I was Jane Eyre at the start of that book, where she basically sits behind a window with the curtain closed reading. So I would say I've pretty much always been reading. Where do I read? Everywhere. I listen to audiobooks at work. I will read when I'm on public transport. I don't drive, so I probably would listen to audiobooks whilst driving. I listen to audiobooks whilst I go for a walk. I listen to audiobooks when I'm doing housework. And then when I'm at home, I will read my Kindle in bed before falling asleep. I will read on the sofa. I can read in my library. So constantly and everywhere. The next question is, what do you like to read? And honestly, pretty much a bit of everything. I read middle grade, I read YA, I read adult, I read dystopias, I read science fiction, I'll read a thriller, mystery, fantasy, pretty much everything. I couldn't tell you exactly what I don't like. I think literary fiction can be a bit so-so with me. I'm not enamoured with books set during the World Wars, and crime hasn't sat right for me for a few years, but I would say that the personality or how problematic an author is more of an indication of whether I will read a book or not. There is quite a short list of authors that I just won't read from. But beyond that, I'm generally willing to give any book a shot. Okay, the final question is, what does your book collection look like? And the answer is, it's behind you. There's quite a number of books missing at the moment that I've taken up because I'm currently reading or because they're on a TBR. But I will scoot over just to let you see a bit better. Yes, I am wearing a Christmas top. It's very comfortable. So there's 3 bookshelves this wide and then there's this one little one. So we've got, it goes white, white, white. The one on the end is black and has white doors. So the one with the doors is generally non-fiction, although it does have my older books that are 100 plus years old, just to keep them a bit safer. And then the rest of it is alphabetized. As a general rule, if it's orientated that way, it means that I've read it. If it's upways, it means that it's to be read. However, as you can see, I'll just move the dinosaur. As you can see with the Mortal Instruments, if it's a series, I keep it standing upright as that's the way it's meant to be displayed. Okay, so that's all the questions for the BookTube Newbie tag. I hope that you feel like you've learned a little bit more about me. I'll just end by giving you a couple of facts about me as well. I've got one cat called Nuna. She is 10 years old, so she's a little old lady. She often sleeps in my bed during the day. I have a husband who I've been married to for 5 years and have known over half my life. He's called B. I'm non-binary. It's something that I've been working through during the pandemic, and reading a lot of literature, watching YouTube videos has helped me figure out for myself. But because it's only during the pandemic that I've kind of figured it out, I don't know what it really means, except for feeling much more content in myself, realising this is who I am. What else about me? I'm turning 30 in the summer. It's not something that worries me though, it's just something that's happening. I went to see the Northern Lights in Iceland a couple of years ago. I'll pop a photo on the screen. It's not a great photo because I only had a phone camera to take the photo with, but I think it captures the magic for me a bit. Okay, and I think that's all for today. So until next time, bye!